Hello, darling. Have you ever noticed how sometimes a random thought pops into your head and you're not even sure, like, where did this come from? That happened to me today. I was doing laundry and I was talking to my guides the way I often do. I was thanking them for helping me during a session that I had with a client earlier this morning. I was expressing gratitude for the signs, the nudges, the little synchronicities that happen. You know, the ones that help you out when you're stuck in a bind or let you know that you're not navigating life alone. And then I said something interesting. I thanked them for the lessons. The moment those words left my mouth, I paused. Because if I'm being honest, most lessons don't arrive wrapped up in pretty little bows. Lessons often show up as challenges, maybe even heartbreak. They often come as uncertainty, as things not going according to plan, or, we've all had these moments. So I caught myself thinking, am I really grateful for the lessons? And surprisingly, the answer was still yes. But that question, it opened a door to something much deeper. Suddenly I remembered being a little girl. I was probably about 6, 7, and I was sitting with my grandma. And she was reading me out of the Bible, the story of Job. And what stuck with me wasn't his faith, it wasn't his loyalty to God. And what stuck with me was his loss. As a child, I remember feeling afraid. I listened as this man, he lost the things that mattered most to him. And somewhere in my young mind, I formed a belief. What if loving something deeply means risking losing it? That story, it followed me for years, especially after I became a mother. I remember thinking I could never love God enough to lose my children. Now, this isn't really about religion. That's not what I'm on here to talk about. It's about fear. It's about the stories that we absorb as children, the ones that make up our belief system and the meanings that we attach to them. Looking back, I realized that somewhere along the way, I developed an unconscious belief that devotion, any devotion, might require sacrifice, whether it be to God or whoever your higher power is. That if I love something enough, maybe life would ask me to prove it by losing something that I love just as much or even more. And that's a heavy thing to carry as a child and as an adult. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that many of us walk around with beliefs that we didn't consciously choose. It's just a belief system that was built from what we've learned, what we've processed. Beliefs about success or beliefs about our happiness. Beliefs about what we think we have to suffer through in order to deserve something beautiful. Sometimes those beliefs are quietly running in the background of our lives, like an app that we forgot was open and didn't swipe shut. Today, while I was standing there and I was folding the towels, I realized something. I no longer believe that love requires loss. Now, I no longer believe that devotion requires a sacrifice. I don't believe a loving higher power sits around testing us by taking away the people that we cherish most. Life does contain loss because life is life. Loss is part of human life. And that realization, it felt incredibly freeing. Because it means that I can love fully. I can be fully grateful for everything, the lessons, the blessings. I can trust fully without waiting for the other shoe to drop, without secretly wondering, what's life gonna take from me next? So maybe today the lesson wasn't about gratitude at all. Maybe the lesson was noticing that an old fear, an old belief system no longer belongs in my future. And maybe that's something worth being grateful for. I'd love to know, is there a belief system that you've been holding on to that it's time to let go? Is there a belief system that you've been carrying for years that you didn't even realize was there? If you'd like to share, you can put it in the comments. You never know when your words will help someone else. Keep on keeping on. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.